What is good, family? Hope you are doing well. Can people hear me? Yo, Waterview, what's good, bro? Hope you're well. Wow. Love to you too, bro. Damn, man. From the fire station, spitting absolute fire there, bro. You know what? Cheers to you, my brother. Waterview, it's always one of my favorite people on the entire crypto scene. You and the other legends, bro. And yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope your family is doing well. Hope you're healthy, happy, content. Of course, as always, I look forward to your greetings. Where did the live stream go? All right, guys, we're just warming up the music a little bit before everyone joins us. Do actually have a pretty good, something I want to address. Let me know if it's too loud, guys. Let me know if it's too friggin' loud. But there is actually a reason why there's a lot of uncertainty. And we want to talk about Iran, State of the Union. Of course, we want to look at the Bitcoin dominance. Let me see if I've got my little remix here. Still not pulled through yet. Crazy fear and greed. No one should be in a rush to do anything right now. Because markets will be back. And we will be back. But we wanna rationalize. So State of the Union is going to be fireworks. And this is, if you look at crypto stocks, if you look at everything there is, this is an event. Obviously, we've got economic data coming out at the end of the week as well. But this is pretty important, guys. And I'm going to break this down so you don't have to worry about at least what's going on. Because right now, people look at charts and say it's going up, it's going down, it's going left, it's going right. Nobody has bloody, effing clue. As far as I'm concerned, everybody out there is clueless. And the only thing we know is buy cheap, sell high. But the ability to analyze this, of course, we're going to have a rational analysis of where markets could go. We're going to look at smart money as well. But the State of the Union is going to throw fireworks into the entire building, and markets are cautious. Bitcoin dominance doesn't want to give us anything significant. Interestingly, the total, if you look at the total 3 over here, and if we look at there's been some amazing charts now approaching the absolute bottoms, guys. So first thing I want to look at is there's the Iran situation as well. The US doesn't build up the largest force since 2002 or 3 during the Iraq war, just to use that as a pressure tactic. Let's be honest. He's going to announce something tomorrow at the State of the Union. But there's also a lot of noise coming out of Japan. That's another level of uncertainty altogether. So when you consider that, are assets cheap right now? Yes. Will they be cheaper if we ultimately go down to where everybody is expected to buy? Of course they would be. But would we go there in a rational sense? I'm not sure. Canton Network, yes, that is going to be on the agenda. We're going to talk about the hardware wallet. I'm talking to one company right now who saw one of my videos on the channel, and they seem to have a pretty robust cold storage wallet for Canton. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about the actual opportunities in the market right now. And the first one I wanted to talk about was the Sui blockchain. So I've actually put some decent updates into the Discord. But when you look at Sui, do not look at Sui as a price only. Look at the market cap chart as well. So if you look at this, the market cap here, we peaked around 16 billion. And of course, right now it's 3.35 billion. A lot of your cryptocurrencies right now, the most important thing for you to look at would be market cap charts. And that will give you a different perspective to the market, because if you keep looking at price and lose track of where the market cap is, you are likely to miss good, solid bottoms. Now let's have a look at a lot of you who might be holding, who might be buying or DCAing into Sui or the ecosystem, want to know where this bottom. Okay, so we are not far away from the bottom when it comes to the market cap chart. Why would I say that? So it has hit this level here on multiple occasions, right? So you've got, this is a very, very strong, and 2.6 billion, 2.6, give or take, is a place of massive, massive support. Now, if we want to be a little bit more clever with it, we can actually see the lows here and try to figure out a trend line here, which is 1, 2, 3 touch, going all the way back to August 2024. So the market cap has a really small margin to fall, which means it's Sui undervalued. Then there's two more, I would say probably two more charts you need to look at. One chart is this 854 bar or 54-day trend line support going all the way back to 2023. So we've hit this multiple times. And this is the spot chart, not the derivatives, the spot chart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 taps on this level. This is going to be quite key. So the other chart I need you to look at is the Binance manipulation chart. And that kind of offers us a different view of what happened to the Sui price. So Binance's chart went all the way down to 57 cents in October. And I think that is, we've got a lot of buys around that price. But showing you the market cap chart, which doesn't have a lot to fall on, and so you're getting a lot of ETFs, of course, dropping on the daily, the weekly completely oversold. So you might want to start to look at your favorite projects here and start planning how you're going to DTA into that. Another chart that we need to look at is the Tau chart. Tau is back to where you want it to be back to, which is around that 160 line. So there you have it. We're about to do something really, really historic here. $170 for BitTensor Tau. And by the way, cheers, guys. It really is. I mean, Tau, in terms of long term, for me, anything below this price will start to really, really give you a crazy, crazy amount of gains in the long run. Of course, AI is the big talking point, a massive talking point in terms of what's going on with the stuff you can do with AI. If I, for example, let me just publish this for a second. I can actually, what I need to do. Guys, it's absolutely insane the amount of work I get through here. Absolute insanity. I can track assets. I can absolutely spot trends. I can do so many things with what's going on with AI right now. It's just not funny at all. I've been trying to build a smart board or smart dash for the community. They just take a look at once. I haven't really settled down on the final version of it, but it's incredible. And I'm going to continue to bring you AI stuff that I see in the market as well. We saw the big Uniswap news. Let's go to let me go to the bubbles. You'd think that the market is absolutely pipping polls, big up polls, and of course, nothing really in it. It makes me wonder, right? I know you guys probably don't like this thing here. I know we don't like this, but we need to have a conversation about it. This, when you see the moves that are made by OpenAI and these guys are going to run the world, and the real the real impact of what stuff like this does in the future, it's going to be it's going to be quite interesting. Now, I'm not saying to anybody here go and spend your hard-earned cash into buying WorldCoin, but I think this is worth trading in the long term. Having a particular strategy to look at something like this and to trade, I think would be quite key. But let's continue to look at. So we know Tau now is coming to that same level again, 160, 170 range. Market caps dropped significantly to $1.6 billion. It's going to be interesting. I mean, a lot of people are saying they're going to wait for the $100, but I urge you to follow a well-established route to where you want to go. You can't call the tops, and you definitely can't call the bottoms. So why are we dumping? Why is the market like this? And what I've done here today is I tried to make sense of this. So dollar basically was soaring earlier today against all major pairs. State of the Union is going to be key. Supreme Court ruling rhetoric is going to come out really, really big here. Rhetoric on Iran, normally, it's going to be some kind of an announcement. It could well be a strike. It could well be just harsh rhetoric about Iran. And this is why markets have been pulling back. Japanese yen was a big story overnight. Bank of Japan is going to be another factor in these markets. It says here Bank of Japan is fighting an uphill battle on the yen weakness, and the Japanese Prime Minister is making it harder. She pushed back on further rate hikes and plans to appoint a dovish board members. And then, of course, China has actually slapped fresh export restrictions on 20 Japanese companies with military ties. Of course, that's also something you need to watch. And this is why these things are happening right now. Gold had a slight pullback, of course. Crypto, as always, I've said, anytime you see below $60,000, go max bidding on your altcoin, start to accumulate and drive what you need to do. But ultimately, the reason why we've got a slight, extreme fear in the market is because the macro is not safe. Macro is not safe at all. Historically low fear and greed index reading. So we know what the drill is. We know these charts. I mean, Solana was earlier on today, I think it was at $78, 1,800 for Bitcoin. Had a very decent pullback. I do have a theory about Ethereum, by the way, guys. So you've got a very, very long trend line that's coming into play very soon. And if that happens, of course, we're almost at that level, and we could see a reversal here. Solana, $78. Anybody who was buying this at $200, yeah. If you have any ambitions of buying shitcoins down the line, see if yeah, we're good with the sound. Good evening, Ram. What's happening, bro? And I hope you are doing very well. Lessons to you and everyone else in the beautiful continent, or they call it the subcontinent of India. Now, Canton's a strange one, man. Canton Network is having its own bull market, guys. This is, it's very hard to actually see we came here with this absolutely crazy. It's a very, very strong chart. What I would say though is we need to, obviously we are at a very important trend line here, and we need to see what happens here. But Canton has held relatively well. Canton is a project that is specifically TradFi, no major listings, no pre-sales, just straight. Well, it's not really 100% fair launch. The big news here is Zebik Network, joins Canton and launches credit card. Sorry, not the debit card alone, but there's also the JP Morgan news that was coming up here. Cross-border repo, collateral mobility via tokenizations. So they have, when it comes to RWA, they've actually got a very, very good lion's share of the market cap. What I like about here is the way the tokenomics or the way the tokens are generated. You can see here max supply infinite, total supply 37 billion, and circulating 6. So you might be thinking, what's going on here? But they do have a specific mechanism in terms of supply and demand. It's been one of the most bullish coins in the market. Of course, we bought this up 10 cents. It was a nice little trade. I must admit, I'm all out of it right now. But don't be surprised to see me get back in due to further market conditions, pressures, and everything else. So yeah, that's going to be quite key. I think we've got the rest of the fellas in the building as well. Pick up yourself. Peter's in the building. What is going on, brother? Hope you're well. Rocker, Coinbase, L Bank rumors. It's not even a project, bro. I think that's gas, right? I always see that one in the comments. Yes, Kumo. What's his rocker stuff, man? Scam thing, innit? So Peter's in the building. I hope you are doing well. So I would say possibly, brother, Canton, I'm absolutely out of it for now on the basis of actually buying and trading that. I did put out a buy alert into the Discord about it. But are we going to see sub 10 cents again? That's what I would wait for. But now I've made a decent amount of money. Trading volume 24 hours versus market cap, incredibly concerning here. You don't see a $6 billion fully diluted project that has an $8 million trading volume. Math don't work there. So I wouldn't rush in. We need to know more. Of course, in terms of, for me, the bullish aspects are very clear. The not so bullish aspects are we need to actually see more definition of what it does. My brother, right here, man. Yeah, I decided to come on live because it's not easy live streaming in Ramadan, right? You're pretty much not eating for like half of the day. 24 hours, 7, 8, 10 hours of the day you're fasting. And then nighttime you've got to be moving about and doing other things. So yeah, it was the new year, and then of course Ramadan now. So I'm pacing myself. But I've got to run it back for Rocker Finance, bro. That's not even a project. That's a spam right there, bro. Maybe we'll just ban the word, right? Yeah. That's a very good question here, bro. Something into XPL. Well, I talked about, to be honest, I did talk about XPL the other night, and see what you have to remember is the the price has pretty much. I mean, the trading volume is healthy. Um, the if you want to front run the Clarity Act with a specifically, I would say, smaller project, which clearly this is. I mean, it's 180 million dollar market cap cryptocurrency, right? Uh, the what I would say is here's what I would say. Let me just get some information. Let's go. I'll give you a good answer for this because it's very easy to. Uh, uh, so if we check, so you got to look at what's going to benefit directly straight away, right? I'm going to give you stablecoin architecture, of course, custom gas token support, trust minimized in terms of the Bitcoin bridge. They claim to have a very high, decent performance infrastructure with decent TPL. So what we want to know is how it benefits from the Clarity Act. Okay. So if you look at price tokenomics, nothing tells you 93% down, right? You don't all of a sudden turn bullish on something like this, right? You want to rationalize the opportunity as much as you can. And if you are buying, what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, I'm going to ready myself for the Clarity Act by getting in low. Is it low enough for you to buy right now? 0.0875. Pretty much, I mean, the chart speaks for itself, right? And what I would say is, let's look at this in more kind of detail because I want to inform you guys. I want to give you my kind of what I would do personally myself. So here's what I think: layer one blockchain is at an advantage. Yes, designed for stablecoin payments, which is what XPL is. That's very, very good because what we have is stablecoin payments are going to be quite central. Now, you got to ask yourself, will they use a lower cap, smaller coin, or this has very good backing, but will they also not be using Ethereum or Solana or some of the other big chains? Right. So if we're looking for something that's optimized for stable coins and payments, it's pretty good, especially with USDT. And it has EVM compatibility, broader DeFi payment use cases as well. Token itself handles security through staking governance, validator rewards, and gas fees for non-stablecoin transactions. So, with that being said, uh, the Clarity Act is going to have this comprehensive framework for digital assets. So, we're going to be clarifying things like jurisdiction, um, of course, security assets and of course, CFTC for commodity assets. And they provide exemptions for certain decentralized cryptocurrencies. And addressing the stablecoin provision ongoing in the debate, because there is a massive debate in that, I would probably say when it comes to that, it's going to be an ongoing debate for the yields. That's where we got stuck in last time, especially with the banks. So the target right now is 1st of March. And of course, for stablecoin related compromises, there's going to be there's odds of like 78 to 80% it goes through by mid-year. So in effect, yes, plasma would likely be positively impacted in the sense that the Clarity Act obviously directly addresses the stablecoin yields, and that's why it's a stablecoin focused blockchain. Now, it's interesting because it does align with the acts in terms of their clear rules for digital commodities and payment systems. Now, will the tokenomics come into a question? That's a very, very important point to note. So, would they be classified as a commodity? Is what you're going to be asking yourself? If they meet, this is for you, bro. If they meet the decentralization criteria, no central issue controls post-launch, and they are decentralized. Okay, so the tokenomic analysis is going to be very, very important here in order to qualify for being a commodity. So the one thing is, no central issue controls the project post-launch, reducing SEC oversight, and of course, enabling it easier for institutional adoption overall. And the clarity, of course, will also benefit the act will also benefit their ecosystem as well, because they'll attract more stablecoin issuers, developers, users, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so that's going to be quite key. However, of course, if stablecoins and yields restrictions do remain in the short term, that could be a problem overall. The passage of the Clarity Act, if it gets through in March, it's going to be positive for all of these protocols that issue stablecoins and have native stablecoins. Okay, so that's going to be quite key. So it's removing regulatory uncertainty for sure. And non-passage, of course, delay will have that question mark all over it. But then you ask yourself, what cryptocurrencies right now are kind of secure in the sense of the qualification of being commodity? Of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum are commodities. Solana's under the ETF gateway with its DeFi ecosystem, it's also classified as commodity. Ripple, of course, naturally, Chainlink, Hedera, Litecoin. Uh, you have then, of course, you have the likes of Tether and Circle and a few others there. So yes, the question is, will it qualify for being commodity? Right now, the tokenomics don't allow it because I still believe it's slightly more centralized, but it has all of the right ingredients to try and meet that. So when we look at tokenomics, 25%, investors only have 25%, right? So if you add ecosystem and team, so investors and public have 35%, and then 65% is really insider holdings. So I would definitely say for now, looking at this aggressive schedule, right? So what we have, they should be able to. I mean, September we've got this. We've got 833 million for tokens, 72 million for investors, $72 million for the team. We've got 87 million as a public sale. So we do have 1st of September, we've got a pretty decent unlock, right? You can see here that the shift is quite significant, and then inflation throughout up till 2028. So that's what you have to consider. In my opinion, this was a pretty decent price of $1.68. And ever since then, it's been quite brutal. Friday, 6th of February was the low. That's only 19% higher than where it is today. So for me, it is kind of like, okay, not a bad project at all. Whether it qualifies as a commodity under the rules remains to be seen, but normally it's going to be sell the news, right? So high performance layer one, specifically built for stable coins, tier one investors and backers. Shit chart. Chart is at all-time low or thereabouts. Bitfinex, of course. Arthur Hayes and those kind of people are sniffing around and they're in there. But the chart is pretty significantly low. So between now and 1st of September, in a better market condition, I think it does well. Long term, I think till 2028, post the Clarity Act pump, which will be irrational for most projects. I think it's one that you just need to watch right now. So that's my opinion. Good project, shit tokenomics, 65% ecosystem and team, and of course 35% for everybody else. So yeah, bro, I hope I've answered that question. Yeah, the team should let me know what this is. Yeah, Rocket Finance is a scam, bro. Look at the Bitenso Tau chart, and I'll just remind everybody else where we are. We may not, we may not go to these levels everybody wants to buy cryptocurrencies in. We may not end up going to those levels. But where we are right now is as sweet as it gets for Bitenso Tau. We basically break any lower than this, it's going to be absolute fireworks. The trend line is being absolutely concrete. The demand zone has held for a very long time, and we dip below this, and we got back in it. If we break back down again, you can even see on the screen, I've accumulated a healthy little bag around 160, but I would obviously buy more at 100. I'd certainly put a lot of money into it. Uh, Big up Jenny's in the building. Hope you're doing well, Jenny. Blessings to you, your family, and everybody that's associated with you. And yeah, virtuals. Why not look at virtuals? If you saw some of my research in the Discord regarding the agentic AI and what's going on in that sense, see, the Mexi chart in October was 28 cents, 26 to 28. And we've actually got a pretty decent support here. What's going on, man? Let me turn this down a little bit. So yeah, I think Virtual's protocol now it's let me see what's happened with the some of the chart I wanted to count. Yeah, that's the yeah, we I mean we could potentially break to 28, but the chart is going to bottom around here, which is pretty much where the candle is. A lot of charts are looking like this. I mean, we looked at Ondo Finance earlier on today. I mean, look at Ondo Finance, right? Every time it, every time it gets here, it gets eaten up. So, excuse me. Uh, so yeah, Peter, I think both of those. I mean, let me show you the market cap as well. So virtuals right now is 300. So sub $400 million market cap on a chart that looks like it's had enough. The chart is saying I've had enough. Reverse me. Public distribution. See, this is good. This is good tokenomics. 60% to the public, 35 treasury, 5% liquidity pool. Very simple, more public side view. Let me check. What's going on, Tom? I hope you are doing well, brother. Jenny's in the building as well. Jenny, Ada, Algo, Nia, XDC, and Pendle. Let's have a look at Pendle. Pendle's an interesting one. Maple Finance and Pendle are incredibly interesting. This week, I sent out an alert for where's Pendle? Pendle, sorry. $169 million market cap. Wow. TVL should be still pretty decent. 2 billion in TVL. Key support level. Let's look at the market cap. That's going to give us pretty much a massive sell-off here from its peak, which was around that 1 point something billion there. So Pendle, yeah, pretty good. H-bar added, who did they add? I think they added a big, I don't know what it is, big, Let's go to the council. They added someone to the council recently. So AI has absolutely destroyed some of the biggest names in the stock market recently. Uh, but they have recently added a tier one in the governing council, a tier one brand. So we've got IBM, Aberdeen, we've got FedEx, I think was the one. So FedEx was the latest one. Expert Council. So this one is, I mean, to be honest, it has lost a bit in terms of the market cap, but this is kind of the levels where we're starting to see now, 2023, 9 cents. Maybe this gets back to 4. I think this would be incredible again, because we would go through an astronomical pump. I was alive for this pump here back in, sorry, I just sold before then, but back in the last cycle, I had this play and I sold it at the second attempt. Uh, First pump, oh, it's all over. Second pump, I ejected somewhere here in the high 30s. So I do have a massive appreciation for this one. But yeah, you've got pretty decent ones there. Algo. Uh, Algorand is a silent one. I've always liked Algorand. The one that I think will surprise people is Near Protocol. Because it's one of those things, right? It's never had a bull market since 21. And since then, staking, of course, Zcash, a lot of things have become made this more bullish. Good tokenomics, decent trading volume, AI narrative, of course, not as good as Tau, but in my opinion, I think this is more of a VC play that should have been bigger than Fetch AI or even ASI combined, but they never did. And this is why I think Near Protocol is going to surprise people, because the big wallets, the VCs, they love this. Absolutely love this. Fully diluted, very good historical, what do you call a track of development. The issue was staking. I think this does very, very well. I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I've been greedy. I held it at 54 cents and sold it just over $1 back in the day. So I would love to see a slightly lower price, but the price is as low as you could get. H bar is at DCA level. If this comes to like 60 cents, 50 cents, it's a buy for me, no brainer. Hey, look at that. Carrot going up 27%. Of what? So that's a very good, that's a very, very good list that you're looking at. Yes, I bought very small amounts of stuff. Tom, first of all, great to see you, man. It has been a minute, of course. Uh, I'm BCA. I mean, I said to the team, I bought Tau, and I can tell you the exact levels I bought Tau. I was looking at Ondo today, perhaps coming back into the bottom of this range. Got a range here between 24 cents and about 18. If it breaks that, then I can go in heavy. Right now, it's at historical lows. We've touched this level 6 times. So that's actually a good way to buy these cryptocurrencies. So far, I've accumulated, off the back of this plan here, I bought about 5, 10 Tau in these levels. And of course, you can see here on the chart, I've got generational buys and other, deeper value levels. But I want to take my total Tau holding to about 250 Tau by the end of whenever the dip finishes. So I'm almost there. I'm almost 60% there. Uh, but it makes absolute sense to buy relatively small bags of what you classify as your kind of like main holdings. It's a pretty decent plan because it's automated, right? I put the orders in, set the limit orders, and I forget about it. But the focus has been for me, the top three would have been probably Casper, Tau, and Sui. Once I complete those, I'm switching attention to the likes of Ondo, Neo Protocol, and Uniswap. A lot of people didn't really understand my USD. A lot of people didn't really understand my Uniswap video this week. I was talking about DEX plays, right? And the reason why you want to look at Uniswap is because, first of all, this is very, very much a incredibly cash-rich uh, proposal here, project. In addition to that, when you have the Biddle Fund testing on, and that's not necessarily, BlackRock coming to test. They are testing many different blockchains, including their own. But Uniswap now, this week, announced a particular Claude skill for integrating the DEX into many different applications. I think this is just going to be absolutely crazy. So yes, at $2 billion, you may think, yeah, it's a big market cap play, but just put this on your watch list because I guarantee you a lot of the stuff you'll be flipping would be stuff that you never had the opportunity to buy. I'm more excited about what AI agents can do. So if you look at this, Uniswap protocol, where is it? Yeah, Banker Hub generated 100 million protocol volumes. Bank is another talk altogether. Agents execute on Uniswap. So we've released 7 new skills giving structured access to core Uniswap protocol actions. This is on Claude Code. So you have to pay attention here because, again, I'm not saying Uniswap is going to be the top DEX, but being part of Ethereum, with, of course, Ethereum being a commodity, pulling back to about a $1.5 billion market cap as the ultimate buy. But in fact, where it is right now, the all-time low was $1.09, right? The all-time high was about $44. So yeah, stuff like this is on my radar for sure. Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah, we would definitely break it down more. Uh He's going 80% on Tau, 20% on virtuals, a good idea for AI. Likewise, 80% Ondo and 20% Flu. I think you've got the balances there. I can't see. I mean, if you're holding 80% Tau, 20% virtual, I mean those are blue chip projects. And again, 80% Ondo for your RWA. You can't go wrong. Ondo will be by 2030 and beyond. Ondo will be the way a lot of the TradFi trades, right? TradFi money. If Wall Street's ever going to get into crypto, like on a level that we actually participate in crypto, best believe they're coming from chains like Ondo and Biddle and BlackRock and all of these. So I don't have a problem with that. I think looking at your 4 coins there, I think Plume is your riskiest coin. But virtuals, Every day when you have AI agents, X402 and Coinbase allowing agents to trade, a lot of these agents will natively come out of virtuals. So I don't have a problem with that. I think that is a fantastic risk to reward spread right there. Is the audio too low, guys? One, two, one, two. I thought I was too loud. Yeah, I've got to wait till you guys guide me. You've got to guide me to the brothers complaining about the audio. Is everyone hearing me okay? Good. Mic check, mic check. Microphone check up. Yeah, I was watching Ali G today. It was absolutely hilarious. So, Jenny, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll keep. Maybe it's your end, bro. If it's too low, I think it's your end. Everybody else, I think is fine. Yeah, Grayscale back to Pendle. It had an amazing run. I think Pendle. I always put Pendle and Maple Finance as a watch list because TBLs, charts, market caps. I mean, this is pretty awesome stuff. It's been on my radar for a very, very long time. So yeah, congratulations on that for sure. Playboy Cigarette. What is going on? I love your name, by the way, bro. Hope you are doing well. Mad love and respect to you too. Yeah, we are in the trenches for sure, brother. Hope the family is well. Took some time off, of course, considering assets will potentially reinvest at some time. Yeah, absolutely, bro. So, what I would say is we are at a historical levels of market capitulation. We have AI impacting uh, big stocks, disrupting, and Bitcoin has gone down a lot with the tech fear because we are treated as a tech stock. What I would say is, well, once because AI has, let's face it, AI has absolutely. Was it IBM, one of the big companies today or this week? First, it was AI destroying uh, SaaS companies, AI destroying, I think it was a segment of IPM business, core business or something, where the stocks dropped massively. Bitcoin has been, and there's even a talk that we had in the Discord about quantum and AI together. So, one of the reasons why, again, in addition to the macro, the uncertainty, one of the reasons why we have this is because AI is now moving from destroying sector to sector to sector to sector before it settles down. But this week, I wrote an article about the convergence of blockchain and AI. And I think we are one of the few industries that will benefit immensely from it. But what I would say is you definitely do deserve to take some time out and you do deserve to kind of rebuild. I think your money goes a long way when you understand the dynamics of how things could play out. But I'm hoping, leading to your next question, brother, I'm hoping that the fear, once it settles down, once we clear the macro, if we look at uh, if we look at the not the Fed minutes, look at the Treasury. This is it's not. It hasn't. We haven't pulled back to the levels that really coincide with pumps, right? You can see here, pump, and then we had the April lows. Then we came out of April, went into one significant pump. So we bottom there, and we normally top at these levels here. just to put it really, really basically, if you wanted to actually understand it from a liquidity standpoint. So I hear you, bro. And I think the overall, any kind of bull run in 2026, I think from Q2 onwards, let's say we get, Kevin Walsh comes in, right? Because if we're going to treat this like a bear market, then we've got to look at this holistically. We can't have a bull market and a bear market. We've had 5 months of continuous market dumps, right? So if we go BTC here, let's have a look at this one. So we need to just calculate how long a bear market is and how long it takes for recovery to happen, right? It's a simple calculations. Don't listen to anyone that makes up any form of judgment on the basis of the price action of that day. I think that's the ultimate insult into our intelligence, and crypto is full of that. Today's bullish, tomorrow is bearish. No, there is no liquidity in the system. 2017, 371 days from peak to trough. 2021, peak to trough, we had about, I can even extend this a little bit, but the low actually came about 390 days after the second top of Bitcoin, right? So let's just look at the last 3 bull markets, right? And then what do we have here? October's top, excuse me, October's top to, if we come down to this green box that I've got here. So what's the date today? How far are we into this in terms of the weeks, candle counts? We are at 140, about 140 to 50 days, right? 154, 153, 154. So if we extrapolate this and say the average bear market from peak to trough lasts around 350 days or 360 days, right? Let's put 350. So that takes us into September. So if we believe anything can happen between now and September, but we go from the peak to the trough and we take around 300 plus days, and right now we're 150 days into it from the last top, then we've got the sub kind of thing. Kevin Walsh is going to come in, midterms are coming. It's going to be high stakes environment, and the Trump government certainly wants to put something on the board. You know, this is a man that said we can't stop winning after all, but we need to show some wins on the board for the crypto bros. So what I would say certainly is until May or Q2 at least, the market won't recover. And I think September 2026 at the earliest is when we start to get to that 350 days. And October, if we want to be the same kind of time frame as previous bull markets, around 380 days. So yeah, so there you go, bro. That's your answer. Anytime, Jenny. I wish I could have come on here a lot more like I used to. Sometimes I'm constrained by actively fasting during the daytime, so night becomes a lot more scarce. But much appreciated and much love to you as well. Holy moly! Can we smash a like for my brother ATM right now? Soon you're going to be an ATM, bro. Because Ondo at 15 cents, if you get that 100K and it goes to $10, right? You know you're gonna have that M to your name. You're gonna have that M to your name. So you better look after your you better look after your boy if that happens. But congratulations, of course, you've got to be watching the prices. But 15 cents will be fantastic. You know, you could grab 10,000 tokens for what I don't know, $1,500. $15,000 and you're good to go for 100K. Alaikum assalam, bro. Hope you're doing well. My biggest loser was Alf. It's on discount. Invest or hodl for the best, or hope for the best. I'd say hodl for the best. Look, I was recently clearing out some dead weight in my portfolio, and unfortunately, I had to just cut my losses and go. But what I would say is based on what we see. I mean, there was a brother that was talking to me that said it's actually my biggest loser as well, from a dollar value, from where it was and where it is right now. It really just depends on, I mean, here I have zero conviction because of the trading volume. So this is why I think it's going to be quite interesting to see 30 days. What's this chain? Top gainers. I mean, listen, it does have ecosystem. It does not convince me in terms of volume. That is my biggest issue here. So definitely, I mean, depending on what number you ended up with, TVL now at least, we never had a TVL before 1.7 million. That's okay. You could, to be honest, I mean, at this level, as long as you've got other coins or you put in your money right now in better plays, you could just leave it and see what it does. I mean, if it doesn't go to zero now, I don't think it will. And the last 7 days has been relatively green. But I was just clearing it because of perhaps the dollar value in my portfolio. I didn't really see it as a problem to shift it. But it's really hard. I will try to drop a message to them just to get them on board and see if we can get them to come on the channel and we have a nice little chat. So guys, look, is Iran going to happen? Let me know if you think if this happens, right? It's gonna be crazy. Hits out that reports that the U.S. top general warned against attack in Iraq, crisis of his own making. That's what the FT is saying. Another war with Iran. Rubio, Gang of 8, as Iran looms over State of the Union. 32% of Americans say Trump has right priorities. New poll finds ahead of the U.S. State of the Union. Again, protesters are still kicking off. And it's quiet. Honestly, this is a hot topic on the markets. I mean, this fleet here is ginormous. You've got the Abraham Lincoln, you've got the Gerald Ford, you've got tankers all over Bulgaria. You've got the U.S. Army. Literally, I mean, this is a gigantic force. So, it's not cheap to bring this level of hardware into the theater, and it's costing the American taxpayer a lot of money, right? It's costing the taxpayer a lot of money. So if you're going to bring this level of hardware down, I don't think it is just to sign the deal. I think, diplomacy, play out. I think this is going to go down to the wire. But we hope that this is not going to be a prolonged war because, 30% of the world's oil goes through the strait. The narrowest point, I think it's about 6 to 9 miles. It's very, very short. And for those of you that understand the region, I mean, it's a shallow, it's very shallow water. So the Iranians probably have, these crude diesel submarines, and they go in and out of this strait, of course, and they could potentially lay on the floor, ocean floor and cause damage. So this was one of the considerations. So the Iranians are there negotiating, but it would be a messy war. I just hope that for the sake of our for the sake of everyone. And if it happens anyway, listen, if it happens, it happens. Shit happens, right? You can't do nothing about it. But if it does happen, just get your USDT out, because you will have great. This will impact the markets unlike any other previous situation. I did put something in the Discord the other day about the number of conflicts Bitcoin survived since 2014. All right. And it's not clear cut. And then the other thing was, the other crazy thing was, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Mexican, what's going on in Mexico. This is absolute insanity. I mean, the elemental situation here is insane. You saw this snippet from Mexico is moving mad. I mean, Mexico looks like not only a war zone, but the world right now is in a mad, is in a crazy state. But I guess Trump was right all along regarding these powerful drug cartels. But what do? Do you cut off the arms? I mean, these guys are, they have what they call their straw. They call them these straw systems, where everybody goes to a normal licensed gun dealer, buys a weapon legitimately, and then ships it down south. But the world is on fire right now. You've got Iran, you've got Mexico, you've got the potential situation in Japan. So we are going to get more buck. We are going to get more for our money when it comes to these markets. But my goodness, no wonder the markets are absolutely bleeding. There's very little certainty here. Yeah, what about it? It's not gaming season. Thank you for your continued live streams. Anytime, bro. I wish I can come here more often, man. It's just Ramadan that's delayed my my whole entire schedule, because it's not easy fasting and coming on here. But we are ultimately, when the industry turns around, I think we are going to make pretty decent money. The only problem is, in terms of timelines, patience, gainers and losers. I mean, if you look at, for example, what we have here, I always try to look at these from time to time. You've got espresso here, 66% in 24 hours. Seeker, Enso, I mean, River. There's one that I posted in the Discord that's been doing really, really well. But overall, the market is pretty shit right now. Sideways, left, right, back down. But what I would say is, if you wanted to do kind of like a benchmark of what you want to get for like each category, I would say for layer ones, you must have some kind of an interest in SUI, or at the very least in the SUI ecosystem. But let's talk about layer ones. I would probably mark out SUI, Casper as the two, and then I would have Say and Monad as the smaller two. And then if you want to look at AI is pretty much straightforward. You've got virtuals, you've got Tau as kind of the big one, and then you've got virtuals. Of course, anything else that comes under that would be Neo Protocol for me. If you wanted to look at let's even go to meme coins, I would definitely take interest right now in Pengu, because it's not being available to us at these lows. And then I would bet a small one like Lofi on the Sui blockchain. I would bet Toshi on Base. and I would keep it moving. I have sold my Pepe just to hold back and potentially switch it into a larger position. And then if I'm looking at, for example, an L2, to be honest, don't really care about L2s, but what I would say DEXs, I would keep 100% focused on Aerodrome Finance. I would definitely keep an interest in Uniswap because of what's going on right now. And then if Hype or any of the perpetual DEX narrative plays come available, I'm looking at the big market caps because the smaller market caps are no-brainer if they are to be taken up by a particular chain, right? So some of the beast ecosystems that will be around here for 10 years is where things would go. Then I'd go to the RWA. My number one RWA play would be Ondo. Then I would go RWA/DeFi. Then I'd look at the likes of Pendle, maybe Maple Finance, ZBEC on a smaller scale, which is a slightly more in terms of the risk curve. Then if anybody still believes in gaming or NFTs or anything like that, I would now. I was looking at IMX the other day. I don't like IMX. I like B, but the entire ecosystem is down. I was looking at holy crap. I mean, some protocols that spend so much money, ridiculous amount of money, is now like look at Wilder World. I mean, they've spent so much money and their market cap is absolutely tiny. But yeah, do let me know what your kind of like top 2 to top 4 buys this dip. That would be quite interesting. It has never been a gaming season. Still hasn't been. Yeah, facts. Absolutely. Still holding Marvia. Hopefully gaming season. Look, it's either a 0 or 100x, in my opinion, for those small micro caps. Marvia, I'm still holding in my latest portfolio, which I published the other day. And I was thinking, look, if Beam now is sub 100 or just thereabouts, 130, just think about the micro cap games. I mean, I was talking about Wilder World earlier. Think about stuff like Marvia, stuff like even the most played game that I see online, which is Off the Grid. Off the Grid right now, the gun token is giveaway. That they've done a pretty poor tokenomics going into 2026 anyway, but Off the Grid is becoming more diluted every day, and the more we have those others at extreme prices, the better. But yeah, big up yourself. We are going to be sticking around with Marvia because I think long term at these current prices, what would I gain if I sold it? Absolutely nothing. RWA Peter said number 1 will be ZBEC and Ondo is number 2. I think in terms of gains, in terms of the price projections, you are spot on, my brother. Yo, Zora is very good. It's on Robinhood, 75 million. Last couple of cycle, last double cycle. Caesar can, yeah, double. Of course it will, yeah, because it is a look. The thing about Zora is it is essential for the creator economy on base. Now it's dumping. Trading volume is still $13 million, right? And look at this. You know, I would love it if we came below 1 cent. You know, this would be ridiculous. Like pre-pump levels are very much closer to the low 1 cent level. That would be so nice. Has a 5 million TVL and base is all over this. And don't forget, guys, as well, you know, base could be dropping a token themselves. We want to see how that the world's attention market. So anytime you see something like this, it's always good to keep tabs on. Now, base, obviously, if they have the mass adoption that we expect them to have, I think Zora will be a brilliant little play that we potentially make some decent money on. But yeah, it's super interesting. I think anything that creates some kind of not only attention, but in terms of the ability to generate. This is why these pumped up funds or meteoras or these are potentially revenue generate. Pumped up fund has a legal case, but this is something that's going to, when the markets are more bullish, will be trending up for sure, because we are definitely in this attention economy, attention markets, and all of these different crazy activities that they do. So they bring a lot of money to base for sure. Thank you, Jenny, my sister. Much appreciated. So yeah, I do like Zora. I think I was just answering that question. Cool. But guys, look, at the top, you eat at the top of the table, and then you throw the least money into the kind of Hollywood projects with the low kind of expectation. If they stick, they stick. You shouldn't be really too bothered about it. But I want to talk to you about pudgy penguins and why I think this is going to replace my Pepe bag eventually. I haven't pulled the trigger. I've made decent money from last cycle from Pepe, and I was thinking about the size of it. It was just sitting in my portfolio, and I sold some back in because look, the best call I made was July, August. I should have really listened to myself way more. But sometimes you just feel like, okay, 33%. I made a video on the channel saying, yo, we need to take the profit here. I wish we would have been 90%, but nobody knew what happens in October, right? But if this becomes available like it's doing so far, great. Hasn't had a run, like a crazy astronomical run yet. Tons of bullish things happen in partnerships. I think this would be kind of like we will do a Pepe move, in my opinion. Yes, it has a lot of loudmouths and ambassadors and shillers and all of that stuff. But I think this one, I'm watching this one. Yeah, this will be, I think this would be, I mean, if you look at the only difference here is Pepe was just all dump, tokens up front, boom, right? Whereas this one came out with a massive promise. It has partnerships, NFTs, credit cards, communities, and everything else. Yet it's at $400 million market cap. But this could go a lot higher. Even if you were trading this for like a 10x, I think you could do that, right? Very, very comfortably. Waiting for the next Pepe. Facts. Brother, you're too kind. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. No, I appreciate that. If we make it to the channel and we don't answer questions, then what's the point? What is my purpose of being here? I think people are already hurting enough. So the very least you can do together is to have knowledge, because all the mistakes we've made and all the things that we've been through together, the manipulation, the Trump announcement, the Liberation Day tariffs, there's never been a cycle like this. And quite often, I think from a human perspective, we tend to look at things as, the motive should be to make money, right? The motive should be to make money. And in the journey of making money, just like the journey of family, the journey of love, the journey of work, anything you do in life, if there's no obstacles, it means it's the wrong thing. You should not do it. If it's the right thing, it will have obstacles, stumbling blocks. You will doubt your ability. Even sometimes as the same person, why did I do this? It's not the one that you win, ultimately, that you remember. It's definitely not. I'm telling you now, for example, when I talk about this sometimes to remind people, we did a 160x plus on a shit coin by the name of Peanut, the squirrel. One night, I sat next to my wife. She's watching TV in the living room, and I was talking to her, and she was on TikTok. So, yo, what are you doing? And this is when before people even moved to like TikTok, crypto, or whatever. She was like, "Yo, there's this little look what's going on here. This is this little animal here." And I looked at it, and I was like, "Yo, why did he? What happened? Why did they put this down?" It happened to me twice. I think the other time was like the hippo. But when I saw that, I was like, "Yo, let me go and see if there's a token, right?" And I did some research. Anyway, it ran so hard between coming from the living room to putting out the buy alert. In the end, Peanut went over to $2 billion. I think we entered around, it was like less than 40 or $40 million. But I don't remember that. What I remember more is those $1,000 losses or those buy alerts that go wrong. And when somebody loses their money, most people run back to, this is not financial advice. But it fucking hurts. Damn right it is financial advice, right? Yes, you're not responsible for it, but you kind of are, because you're the one who's doing the research, bringing the, so I don't take that lightly. I don't think it's as simple as coming back, showing up with so that's why I try to give back to the community, like, answer questions and make sure you stir people in the right direction and at least show what you're thinking, right? Yeah, you ain't about being in the Discord to get this or no, we need to talk about what's going on here. And it's not easy. There's wars, there's famine, there's elections, there's macro liquidity. I wish I've learned so much in the last 4 years that I've never considered in crypto before. Before it would be watching charts, selling high, buying lows, selling high, and calling it a day. So yeah, man, it's I really appreciate you guys for your support, but I think we've got a long way to go to get everybody back on good level of money. At least they'd say when I started this journey, I didn't lose, not because I've lost money alone, but I've gained so much knowledge, and now I'm making better choices. And I'm not going to FOMO, and I'm not going to move with the crowd, and I'm not going to be, all of these things that we ask ourselves every day. Appreciate you, bro. People don't follow me because people don't like the truth. People are scared of the truth, and I think if you tell people what they want to hear more often than not, I think you do very well in this industry. If you tell people that just because I said this 10 months ago, people don't remember that. But people remember when you interact like this and have a proper discussion. Preach. Facts, bro. We can lose money, but we can't lose knowledge, right? And that's the one thing I always ask myself. I say, look, if I do this again, what would I do differently? Because I'm not going to be the definition of insanity. I'm not going to go to the DGen channels and listen to Twitter, for example. I used to value Twitter a lot. And the more you realize, the more you use Twitter, the more you realize it's, unless you know which groups you're taking part in and stuff like that, but it is absolutely dangerous, very dangerous. But at the end of the day, it's all about speculation. We will make money. It's just, can we be patient enough to scoop some good projects? So anyway, guys, I think we've done what we're doing for time. I think we've done over an hour again. Boom. Fantastic. Well, listen, 1 hour, 25 minutes. We shall do another one very soon. I'm sorry I can't schedule it because of Ramadan, but I will do my best. Have a lovely night. God bless you all. And, thoughts out to New York as well, under blizzard conditions right now, the East Coast. But have a lovely night, guys. And hopefully the next time we speak, it won't be there won't be no war in Iran. Pray for us. Take care. Good night.